if we want to graph the parent, the mother graph of absolute value, we're going to go to y equals. If there's something there, we're going to clear it out. We're just going to hit clear over here. This is y again. You got to stick with me the whole time, not just in between stuff. We're in y equals. We are going to hit the math menu right here, below alpha, right below the green button. Well, good. We're going to go over to num. Well, good. And we get to absolute value, and we notice, depending again, if it's the yellow calculators, the little bars are going to show up. If it's one of the gray ones, the word ABS is going to show up with a parenthesis. They mean the same thing. We're just going to hit X. That's all we want. And we're going to graph it. And I see this V-shaped looking thing come up. So let's get a few points, though, out of this. So we're going to do second graph, because we want the table. We'll kind of make a note of that here. I'm going to do it lots of times here shortly. Lots of times. And so we're just going to plot some of these points to kind of see what this is going to look like. So I'm just basically going to my table, and any points that I can see that are in here, I'm going to go ahead and plot. Now, here's the thing. We need at least 3 points to be able to make one of these, because we got to see where this V shape is going to come from. And so when we pull up our table and get our values, if it doesn't look like a V, something went wrong. So we can make this work this way. But here's the thing. When we get down into these, you're like, wait a minute. What's that big old word? Is this like the movie? Like we're going to do Transformer stuff? No, transformations is just a fancy word of saying which direction are we going to shift our graphs as we go. So what I'm going to do here for you is over in this side, I'm going to show you where all the transformations are and what they look like. So hopefully as you're doing these, it'll be a little easier to work with. So just stick with me, because you're going to be like, Hardy, that's way too many variables. You got 4 variables working there. What the heck are you up to? So, okay, here's what I'm up to. Let me explain all the pieces of this. Okay? The middle of my graph, okay, is the vertex. So I'm always going to be able to get that from this equation. You're like, but again, that's all letters, Hardy. How am I supposed to get any of this stuff? So this value inside here is always going to tell me if my graph is moving to the left or right. If it's positive, it's going to move left. If it's negative, it's going to move right. And this K value on the end is always going to tell me if I'm moving up or down. Positive if I'm going up, negative if I'm going down. So, here's a couple of things I can do to help make this really easy for us when we're doing the graphing part. We are going to name the transformation still before we go. We're still going to put it in the calculator this first couple of times, but then I think you're not going to need it, but we'll see. So x minus 2 inside the absolute value. What direction am I going to go to? We're not inside. Inside. We're going to go right. Okay, if it's inside the absolute value, that's always left and right. So right 2 is the transformation. Now we'll see what that is in a minute. For button presses on the calc. So for some of you, like, do it again. Okay, we're going to do it again right now. I know, I'm trying to get away. Where can I go? I'm trying not to cover this stuff up. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. How about, ooh, maybe. Let's try this. Okay, I'm going to clear everything. I'm going to start from scratch. So this is what I want to put there. So I need the absolute value. My directions are up here. We're going to go to the math menu. We're going to arrow over to numeric, the num1, and it's that very first one, ABS. If I hit enter, there's my absolute value. And I'm going to type in x minus 2, not negative 2, minus 2. And so then I'm going to hit graph. And here's what I want you to notice.
Do you have to be a degree?
It shouldn't make a difference on absolute value. Let's see. We're still okay. Oh dear, let me hit pause on this for a sec. Hang on. I'm going to move this over so we can kind of do a comparison. You know how we said, you know how we said our transformation, our shift was 2 to the right? Look at where your first graph started. It started at 0, 0. Uh-oh. Where's this one now? It shifted right 2 to 2, 0. So when you're looking at all of these, your mother graph, your parent graph always starts at 0, 0. These shifts are going to move with those. I went right 2. That's my x value. Went right 2 to 2, 0. And I'll show you the other part of it here. There we go. If I bring my chart up, okay, so there's 2, 0. So if I just start using some of the points around it, so like 1, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, I start to notice something. And it seems like there's a pattern that goes with the V shape that I have. And the pattern seems to be, I just go up 1 and over 1 both ways. And up 1 and over 1, almost like slope when we're looking at those. Now, is that going to be true all the way through? I don't know. But it seems like it's a safe bet. I'm going to put little quotes around slope here. Looks like I'm just going up and over 1 each way, but it's got to be both ways because we're making this V shape. Ooh, now that's what we're going to see here shortly. Yes, because if it starts changing signs, it's going to move. So, let's play this one. Let's see if we can do this one maybe without the calculator. Plus 3 inside the absolute value. What direction are we going to be going? Left. So check this out. If I start at 0, left, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to put my point there. If my slope is 1 over 1, which it is, up 1, over 1 each way. Up 1 over, we're making that V shape. Now that time I did it without the calculator, but let's make sure. Let's do it with, kind of to see if we're on the right track here. So if I do x plus 3 and do my chart, okay, there's my initial point at negative 3, 0. So let's see here. There's negative 3, 0. That's cool. Negative 4, 1. Negative 2, 1. Negative 1, 2. Negative 5, 2. That's the pattern. If I understand the shifts, the transformations, I can do all this graphing. I don't even need this thing. There's going to be some stuff we may like it for, but it's not going to be something bad. So, okay, let's keep trying it this way. Plus 2 outside the absolute value. What direction are we going? Okay, we're going up because it's outside. So, up 2. 1, 2. My vertex is at 0, 2. If we go up or down, that's affecting the y value. But my slope is still 1 over 1. I don't see any number out there. up 1 and over 1 both ways, because again, we're making a V. Up 1 and over, up 1 and over. So we start to make connections between what direction I go, how that moves my vertex, but then the A value just keeps right on going with it. So here's what I want you to try for a second. I won't do it real long, but for a little minute. Try to graph number 4 based on what we've done, especially using number 3 as a helper. Jot down what direction you think it goes. And then do your slope, your up and over one, to make your V. And see where you end up. Because after this one, we'll have covered the 4 basics. Then we'll get into the 2 weird ones. And then we're in pretty good shape then. This is why we kind of hang out in this one for a couple of days instead of just one day. Because there's a lot going on with these. Okay, So minus outside is down. So down 4. So to negative 4, and then again, my number in front is still 1 over 1. That's my slope. We're going up 1 and over 1, making a V. But now, there's a couple of weird things that can happen. There's always got to be those weird ones. So what happens, as it was mentioned earlier, what happens, well, Hardy, there's nothing out here. It's just that negative in front. Okay. So if there's no other transformations, I'm going to start at 0, 0. But that negative, or that negative 1 slope, now means instead of going up 1, I'm going to go down 1 and over each way. Down 1 and over each way. It just flips my graph. Sometimes that'll be called reflecting about the x-axis. Because it looks like I just took the graph from above and reflected it like I was looking in a lake or a mirror or something like that. But otherwise, that one stayed the same. And so, the only other thing you can run into is if your A value literally changes from 1. Now here, no left or right, no up or down, but my slope is 3 over 1. So I'm going to go up 3 and over 1 each way. So that's going to make my graph be a lot more stretchy. Okay, we call it a vertical stretch, but it's a stretch like you are when you're trying to get stretched out and working with those. So you're like, okay, we got the basics. Basics are good. I got a couple more I want to look at you. I'm not going to go crazy. I don't know, Hardy, it looks like you're going crazy. I'm not going crazy. I'm saving some of these. So, I want to peek at these. We're going to do 7, 10, and 11. Then I'm going to get out the way. Okay. Two in front with x. My slope is 2 over 1. We didn't go left or right at all. So we start at 0. It's positive, so we're going up 2 and over 1 each way. Up 2 and over 1 each way. You're like, uh-oh. There's that darn D and R word again. Yep, we're back. I know. So reminder, just in case it's been a little while, domain is going to be our x values from left to right. Here's the best news I'm going to give you all day. The domain for every single absolute value graph is the same, no matter what. Because it's going arrow forever to the left, and it's going arrow forever to the right. Every single time. You don't even have to look at the equation. It's absolute value, it's infinite domain. Every time. I even got a hint for y. I even got a hint for the range. It is not. So bottom to top, I can see it goes up forever. Here's the hint. Yes, whatever the y value of your vertex is, that's where your range is going to start, or possibly end. It depends. So there's going to be all these connections that these make every single time we do these. Okay? A couple more just twists, and then like I said, I'm going to save a few of these for tomorrow because I always think it's good to see a few examples on day 2 of anything. So, okay, we're almost there. 10. Ooh, multiple things. Okay. What direction are we going to? Left. So, left to, you sound surprised. What about the 1? That's up. Okay, so we start in the middle. We start at 0, 0. We go left 2. We go up 1. That's my vertex. So I went to -2, +1. Wherever that first point is going to be my vertex. My slope, there's no number in front this time, so it's just 1. So up 1, over 1 each way. We stretch that out. And now we start making that final connection for domain and range to make this easy as we go. Domain is the free square because it's the same thing every time. The range goes up forever, okay. Where does it start? Where's my y value? Nah, that'd be my x. 1. The y value of your vertex will always be one of your range numbers. Every time. Everything is a pattern. And rolls through. Last one, because I'm saving the rest for tomorrow. One more time. I gotta look. Which one is? Oh, 12. This looks awful. Okay, let's do 12. Woo! Oh, it's like work. Okay. We don't like it, but it pays off. All right. What direction are we going? 3. Left 3. Up 7. Now, here's where the fun begins. Left 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we went left 3. We went up 7. Okay. The slope of the branch is -2/3. Okay. So we're going to go 2 down and 3 right, both ways. So I shouldn't say right, I should say over, because we're going over both ways. Down 2, over 3. So you can see why we like to call it slope of the branch. If it's a whole number, we do it over 1. But if it's a fraction, we're just going to roll with it the way that it is. And then I get what I'm hoping by the end of tomorrow, when we look at this again, is going to be something kind of easy to work with. So we got that. Our range, oh boy. Down forever to -infinity, because we're going down, down, down. What's the y value going to be? 7. Because it's always the same as the y value of your vertex. That is the top of my graph, up at 7. So that's how we're going to roll this out. And did I get myself one of these to have? No. No, I did not get myself one of the practices. So I'm going to grab one of those because I got to let you see what we're up to today. So we're going to break this into pieces. Thank you, sir. Yes, I'm going to get this up. We're going to get you going. So all we're going to be doing here is we are going to be taking a peek at, still grabbing things here. We're not going to go crazy day one here. So I kept numbering from where we left off. So you're looking at this, you're like, holy cow, Hardy, you have lost your flipping mind. I have not lost my mind. Well, at least not completely. So today, I would say, we're looking at page 15 and 16 is what I would be trying to do and trying to work through as far as those things go. Yes, the keys are online already. 100% that is a thing.